We will start everything from the scratch, as I told you. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say scratch, what does that mean? Means when you go to the system as an admin, you have to start system settings first. Okay, of course, if you haven't done all the settings, your system will not work properly. When I say settings means what are the initial enablement that you have to do so that your system will get synced with your employee central or widgets that we say. Then there are some other things that you need to have in the system in order to run the LMS. Okay,
Okay. Yes.
we will come to this later when we talk about the home page and all the settings. Slowly and gradually, I'll show you how to assign these links, how to make sure that on our home page all these tiles are available, or if you want to reshuffle the tiles as we were asking earlier, right? That if I can, move one tile and add any other tile, if I can change the look and feel of the home page. We'll
Okay.
come to that later once we are done with our settings and the initial.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is the first thing that we do? The very first thing we do what? Now, this is the LMS system, but there is some, master data we already have somewhere, like Employee Central we did talk about, right? So what we do here, first of all, we go to the setting and do some changes. So as an admin, of course. Now, this is admin and this is the, this starting from here till this preference.
Yes.
All these tabs are very important from admin part. Okay.
Yes.
We will talk about that step by step. Everything you do in the LMS from admin part depends on these tabs.
Okay.
If you know these tabs, you know everything in LMS. I mean, this is all that we have, right? But what are the other tabs like menu? Of course, menu shows you everything that we already
Yes.
have. Recent is just a shortcut that because there are a lot of information. Like, see, if I click here, we have plenty of options. If I click on any other, option, then again we have plenty of data. Recent is you don't have to come back and navigate to different places. It's better
Okay.
you just click on recent. Whatever
Oh.
you have done recently will be marked here. Like I want to
Oh.
create an item. Let's say for an example, if I want to create an item, I went to this item, right?
Yes.
We'll come to this. We'll talk about this in detail. I'm just showing you an example. Okay. I said I just made a normal search. All the items are there. And let's say I went to this particular item.
Okay.
Okay. I did all the things that I wanted. I made changes and everything. And once I'm done with it, see, I don't have to go
Oh.
anywhere. Let's say I did 5, 7 things, and all of a sudden you realize, oh no, the last to last part what I did was incorrect, or I have to go back to that. You don't have to go to menu and navigate through everything. You just come to
Okay.
reset. You can just click on that again. System will
Oh.
take it there. This is one, and this is very helpful. Now, I have the system. So, what are the basic and first setups that we do? The very first setup that we do, we say, now I want to use the LMS, correct? So, very first thing I'll tell you system. So, for that, what we do, we go to system administration, admin, and then system administration.
Okay.
Now, here you will have an access option, sorry, called configuration. The moment you click on this system configuration now, you have this entire list of data.
Oh, okay.
You have to do some technical settings. You don't have to worry about it. This is something we as a consultant do. So you as an end user, you can say, or HRIS admin, you don't have to do anything here.
Okay.
But you should know, because let's say tomorrow your consultant did something and they are not available. How would you do the changes? Correct? Now, there are some steps. Look, if you see attachment, authentication, visits, all these things are there. Gamification, content, every changes that we were talking about, that what I can see in the home page are available here. All the
Okay.
settings that you do, it will come from here. So the very
Awesome.
first thing that we do the settings with is
Okay.
widgets. So what we'll do, we'll go and click on this edit option. Now, this is pre-populated by SAP, but there are some minor changes that you have to do in this. Okay,
Yep.
what are those changes? First of all, this one. This will always remain false initially when you start your LMS.
Oh.
What you have to do? You have to change it to true. Can you see success factors learning enabled means
Mm-hmm.
do you have your success factor LMS enabled? You said true means yes. Initially it will be false from system when you receive it. Usually it is false. You change it to true. Now we say which system, because LMS is there everywhere. But which
Yes.
system do you want to integrate it with or sync it with? What is the system ID? Here you go and you define your system ID. It's a separate company ID. So you provide your company ID. So the company ID that I am assigning it to or syncing it with is called tenant ID. See, LMS tenant ID in sync in production is this
Okay.
one. Okay? So you don't have to do any changes in the above one. Leave this as it is.
Okay.
This one. Don't do anything there. But you have to make changes here.
Okay. Oh.
What changes? What changes? Not much. What you have to do initially? You have to change the URL, leave HTTP slash as it is, but keep the URL till this. Okay. Success factor is always on a different data centers.
Yes.
You know that, right? So there are different centers. So we have Singapore centers, we have China center, we have Netherlands, we have Germany, Australia. So when you get your tenant, they can give you this data center from anywhere. When you buy your license, this data center is provided from anywhere. Ideally, what they do, they give you the nearby data center. Like if you are working in Singapore, you will get the Singapore or maybe the China one. It's not always mandatory you will get the near one. Anyone wherever they feel like the data based on the data center, they will provide you that data center UI. Okay. You have to
Oh.
do these changes. Initially, it will not be showing you the correct one. It will
Oh.
be a generic one. So you have to use your data center. Now, after this, you leave everything as it is this part. IDP
Okay.
slash SAML metadata company, everything. But at the end, after company equals to, you provide your company ID. Like just like we did at the top, you have to do this tenant ID, or maybe your company ID can be anything. You provide that company ID. These are see technical changes. You don't have to worry about it, but you should know this.
Yep.
Why we are doing this? We are telling the system that now this is a generic URL, but now I told my system that this is the company ID. It will get
Oh.
synced to. Whenever I make changes to this company ID, then
Okay.
only there will be a change in the LMS,
Okay.
not for any other company. So your company ID is synced here. Now it will only work for your company ID, this URL or
Oh.
this LMS system.
Okay.
Now you go to tenant ID LMS. and you make any changes, it will have a direct impact on your LMS now. Now, there's nothing else you have to do in the widgets. These are the basic settings in the widgets. But that's not the only thing. There are other setups as well. Then you go to
Oh,
connectors.
connectors. Okay.
This is huge. This is huge, and there are a lot of changes that you have to make. Now, in the system, in the settings of this connector, you go and again you do nothing but you provide your company IDs. How? Just a second. You start it. Now, the very first thing again, what you do, you set up it. There will be an option. Let me see where that option is. Now, connectors are nothing but that major part through which you import your information. Like before going to LMS, you were live on, let's say, Cornerstone, or you were doing your learning somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Connectors are the things through which you import all your information from outside to your LMS system. Let's say I have plenty of items created in different systems. We will work on that. This is very important. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say we have plenty of hundred of items that we create. Items are nothing but the courses, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are there in the system. Let's say we created that number of courses in the different system. Now I have to pull that information or item data in my LMS. How
Okay.
would I do that? I can't go and create 100 of items manually one by one. There are a lot of information, right? There are hundred of employees who did that course. So manually doing that will not be possible, right?
Yes.
So what do? We use connectors, and in bulk, we can upload everything from anywhere to our system.
Got it. Okay.
These are connectors. So in connectors, you make few minor changes, but there are a lot of changes. There is a list which I'll show you later. But next is connector. Now these are the basic settings that we do. Now we start setting up our data as per the organization. Why I'm saying as per the organization? Let's say your company might have a different requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Like your company has different legal entities, right? Maybe every legal entity your company said should have a different system, and every legal entity should have a different admin. Like let's say AMD has three different legal entities. One
Okay.
manufacturing, another IT, and third is, let's say, services.
Mm-hmm.
Three different business AMD is running right now. Just giving an example. And your company said every company should have a different admin team. Admin team means HRVP team or HR team, your HRIS team. Now you are a part of IT legal entity or IT company of AMD,
Mm-hmm.
right? You should only have access to people who are a member of this IT legal entity, ideally,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Somebody else who is looking after the manufacturing unit, they should have only access to their uh, manufacturing unit. And same goes with the services. So nobody, no HRIS team from different legal entities should be able to see or well access the other legal entity data. What I'm
Ah,
saying that AMD says I have three different legal entities. You understand legal entity, right?
correct.
Legal entity means different businesses they are a part of. So in this system, I will do what? Three different legal entities I have. So I'll do what? I will segregate each legal entity. So each legal entity has a different HRVP or let's say HRIS, right?
Yes.
Because that's my requirement. No legal entity should be able to access the other legal entities' data. Generally, that's what happens. You can't access my information because I'm from India legal entity. I can't access your data because you are from Singapore legal entity. Let's say
Okay.
for instance,
Okay.
that's my requirement. So for that, what we do in the system, we create some domains,
Mm.
and through that domain only, we will segregate it. So I will create one domain for India. And again I will create another domain for Singapore. You
Got it.
will be the owner of Singapore domain. I will be the owner of India domain. If
Okay.
you want, I mean, that's not necessary. Maybe AMD is working in one legal entity itself, and you are the sole owner. One HRIS team is already available. But there are cases wherein people have different legal entities, and they say one legal entity should have a different owner, the other one should have a different one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's simple. For just take this example, we have three legal entities and we want to set up this legal entity separately so that everyone is separately managing their legal entity, every HRI is.
Mm.
So how will you do that? For that, we go to for that you need to go to security domain.
Mm. Okay.
These are initial settings, so don't worry about it. Again, we will come back to this in detail. What now I'm doing, my company said, okay, I have different legal entities, or no, I have only one legal entity, but I want some people to be there who will be actually managing it. Why? Because I have done all the settings, basic settings. Now I have to create the master admin in the system, the HRIS team, who will actually be working on this, right? All I'm saying that now what we are doing, that first we did all the basic settings. Now we are saying we are creating those HRIS, security admin who will be actually working on this admin part from the
Mm-hmm.
backend. Okay, so for that, what we do, we create different domains. Okay, I go to domain and I click on add new and I create domain. So domain ID I can give anything like test one for an example. Okay,
Yep.
I want to add that. Okay, I have the security domain now.
Oh, okay.
Level one. So level one is nothing but this is the security domain I will be using going forward. I will assign this security one, test one domain to you, and you
Okay.
will be the owner of the system. Next, you go on make all the changes. So you don't pass it to person. When you add them, they will automatically have access to this, and they will
Oh,
go and make the changes.
okay.
You don't do anything. Now, if I click on domain and I click on search, line search, you will see our test one will be somewhere. So I will start with, let's say, these are different ways how you can search for a particular
Okay.
domain. There are
Oh,
100 of that. You can't
yep.
search for that. So I said security domain ID starts with, how do you want to search? Exact means you have to type in the exact name.
Okay.
You can say any means, let's say I have created test Singapore. So
Okay.
any one of them. So I said either write test or
Okay.
Singapore. Search
Okay.
for any one of the word. Or it starts with. What is the first letter that starts with? So whichever domain that starts with test will automatically appear there. Then I say contains. There can be a bigger name, but it contains something like this. Like I said, test Singapore. So it contains test. So all the domains with test, which contains test word, will automatically populate. And then doesn't contain. I want everything, but not this. These are case sensitive, and these are the things through which you search for your any particular attribute. So I
Got it.
said that I want to search for a domain that starts with test. I gave it test.
Got it.
And I click on search. Can you see our test
Yes.
is there? This is how you will be searching everything. Then if you want to make any changes, you will click on this edit option, not the uh, glass icon, and you work on them. And you check the security by domain type. Okay, all these things you can handle. Now the second is security domain group. All you don't have to do anything else. You created a group here and you attach all your domains here. So group means what? You club all the domains at one place. Let's say you created 5 domains, different domains. You club them and you define that, okay, now Janice will be the person who will be looking after the Singapore legal entity.
Okay.
So this domain. You search for, just make a blank search. And from here, you see, you go to any one of them, domain group ID.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you attach your domains here in the security domain. Now, what I mean, so I created a test domain, and I will do what? I will assign India, US, public. Public will always be there. This is by default from SAP.
Oh,
But
okay.
what I did, I created one for India, one for the USA. You can create it for, like, let's say Singapore or something, and you
Okay.
attach it. I said
Oh,
now India IT. So now if I attach this domain India, like anybody from the India domain will only have access to this India part.
okay.
You are from Singapore, I have created a security domain called test one. So you will only have access to this. I mean the Singapore. So this is how we restrict you, that you can only and only view or access Singapore domain, nothing else. So you said I want to add more in there, like test one we created. So you go to add one more from the list.
Oh, okay.
I click on it and I type in my domain.
Test. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And I
Yeah,
said yes.
okay. Top level.
And I said yes. Then you see the test one is also available.
Yeah. Correct. Okay.
This is how you will be adding. This is how you will be adding any domain into it. Now you go to role management.
Okay.
And you assign some rules. I created a domain, but I have not defined it what particular role that domain has.
Oh.
Right? So I'll just click on it. So this domain will have admin access. Let's say LMS admin.
Oh. Okay.
We'll create that, so don't worry about it. Everything. I'm just showing you the basic settings. When we do our classes, everything we will do by ourselves. We'll create our domain. We'll create our role. Yeah. This is just a setting. See the permissions. I created a new role and I said, okay, what permission it should have? See, it has all the access. It can create ad hoc report. You can run the finance, connectors, admins, everything it can run. Whichever I want to remove, I can click on it and I can remove it.
Okay.
The moment I say apply change, all this will be removed. You want to add more, you will click on add one more from list. This is nothing but I am giving permission to one role. So there is a role I created called LMS admin. What all that admin can do, this is system administration and everything.
Oh, okay.
And as I said, everything this how to create role, how to create administration, we will do step by step again. This is not something what I'm showing you. This is end. No, These are the basic things that you initially do. And not you, because consultants will do who are very expert in it. They directly come and do the settings. So that's why I mentioned we'll do everything from the scratch. I'm just showing you the basic settings initially we do. Done? We will
Okay.
again come back to it. We will start from the top, from here. In the process, we will come to the system administration as well. So these are the basic setting. You can just go and run the system domain group and this role management. Just have a look from the system itself. Just play around it. These are the basic settings I wanted to show you so that you are aware of the system initiation.